spread offense.
He just hired Tommy Reese, though. He's going backwards. He's going the other way.
Tommy Reese is kind of spread, but also kind of like it's big spread because he has 2 tight ends on the field.
Yeah.
But it's still got
big spread is awesome. I haven't heard it referred to as big spread.
Big spread was my nickname in college.
Oh.
Best comedic timing in the business, ladies and gentlemen.
Jarrett Bailey. Ladies and gentlemen, you never know what you're going to get on these Monday Night Super Friends. This is great. Last thing before we talk about this series that we're going to start tonight with, can they win the Super Bowl on the AFC South? Jarrett, Kirk Cousins bidding war in 2024. Mike Florio, PFT. Niners, and I love that Evan's not here to just lose his mind for this tonight. The Niners and the Rams. The Rams I didn't have on there, but when I thought about it, I'm like, this makes sense. The Rams don't have the picks. They're still in win now mode. Yeah. Stafford might just retire, and Sean McVay's like, I'm not doing a whole rebuilding project. You're going to bring in someone else who I might be able to win a title with right away. I hadn't considered the Rams. They have not been on my Kirk Cousins radar next year. I cannot wait to see what the Rams and Niners do to fight over Kirk Cousins in 2024. What a delight.
And it's crazy, too, because like the 49ers were in on Matthew Stafford and the Rams just gave more to get him. So I could see a situation where if Kyle really wants Kirk Cousins, and everybody and their mother knows that Kyle's going to want Kirk Cousins. Like except
Evan. Evan's still in denial. He is not gotten to that point.
I think it's very much a thing that I think it's all but guaranteed that if the 49ers kind of have a rinse and repeat of what it's been, where they get to like the NFC Championship game and they fall short because of quarterback play, Kyle's going to just march up to John Lynch and bang the table and be like, get me Kirk Cousins. But how funny.
You might already have him in Sam Darnold, by the way, folks.
We would have. I like the Rams idea, though, because Kirk Cousins is basically just Matthew Stafford light. And if Sean McVay in this world, if he wins Super Bowls with Matthew Stafford and Kirk Cousins, he should get a bust the very next day. That would be
if he wins with both.
He's in the conversation.
So I think Matthew Stafford and Kirk Cousins, I don't think they're very similar in terms of play style, but I kind of see where you're going. That would be the stinkiest bidding war of all time. Let me get that out the way first.
I notoriously like Kirk Cousins more than JP does, by the way.
Let me be perfectly clear. Kirk Cousins played well last year. He showed a lot of growth in places that I didn't think he would. Like, he's a real tough son of a gun. He will stand in there and get hit. Like, there were games like the Jets game where like Quincy Williams tried to decapitate him and he just stood in there and threw the ball. That's toughness. You didn't see that a lot from Kirk Cousins. But you're bidding over Kirk Cousins in 2024. He's going to be 36. And you have to pay him a whole bunch of money. Like, don't do
Matthew Stafford was old too, JP.
Matthew Stafford, it's different with Matthew Stafford.
Let me point this out to you, though. Most passing touchdowns since 2017. Tom Brady, 193. Patrick Mahomes, 192. Russell Wilson, 181. Kirk Cousins, 180.
Congrats. That is great. I just don't think Kirk Cousins is, like, at his best. What is Kirk Cousins at his best? Is he a quarterback that you can win the Super Bowl because of?
I don't think because of. I think you can win with him.
See, I think the Rams partially won the Super Bowl because of Matthew Stafford.
I agree.
Because of the way he played, because of the way that he threw the ball through that playoff run. We haven't seen Kirk Cousins do that. So I think there is a difference. I don't think Kirk Cousins, like, if he goes to the Niners, sure, that is what everybody is saying. I still think, like, we haven't even given Trey Lance a chance to actually, like, play more than 4 games. Like, we have to give him at least a shot before we are up and done with him.
Tell that to the 49ers.
Like, look.
It doesn't seem like that's going to happen.
My thing is, if it's really an open competition, Trey Lance should win the job because Trey Lance is the more talented quarterback.
But do you think that's what's going to happen here?
If it's not an open competition, then I believe that, yeah, there's some more questions to be asked. But if it's open competition and Trey Lance loses, fine. That's fine. But if you're going to say it's open competition, Trey Lance should win because he's the better quarterback. And I think people are kind of writing Trey Lance off a little early because he lost to the Bears in a freaking monsoon. Like, no, if you go back and watch that game, there are puddles on the field.
The sideline actually has it's not painted straight on one side. It's crazy.
Any judgment on a quarterback after that kind of game. And in the next game, he broke his ankle. Like, we have to give him a little bit more time to actually show us what he can do. Like, we're so quick to write him off. Like, I'm not saying like he's got haters. Like, that's a very cliched thing, but he should win if it's open competition. If not, then whatever. If he loses, then yeah, that's fine. But Kirk Cousins, like in 2024, he's going to be like 37 years old. What are we expecting out of 37-year-old Kirk Cousins at that?
I think that also comes back to just like over the last decade or so, people have gotten so impatient with the development. Like, you couldn't have an Alex Smith type development today. People are just it would not happen. 0% chance it would happen. So I think that when you have generational prospects come in like Mahomes, like Lawrence did in year 2, and just show like, yep, we were worth the hype. If you have a guy that you draft and he isn't that in the first 2 years, by year 3, you better show something or you're out.
But I mean, even with that, we can't say like he hasn't shown us anything. I'd say it's more inconclusive because like he broke an ankle in like the second week as a starter. Like we cannot say like, oh, this guy's bad. Like, he's only played he's probably played less snaps combined of like organized football since taking over the starter at North Dakota State than like most guys have played like throughout their entire college careers. And if you combine Trey Lance's time at North Dakota State and his limited number of snaps in the NFL, Grayson McCall has probably started more games. He spent like 5 years at Coastal Carolina. But I think that's the thing. You just got to give him time. He hasn't really been given enough time by most people because he was a 3rd overall pick. And you can say what you want about whether they should have taken him over Fields, but Trey Lance is still a very talented quarterback. I think like I said, if it's an open competition, I think Trey Lance should win. If Brock Purdy ends up getting the job, then like, okay, then yeah, you can start moving on. But it's very early to.
I mean, I think it's kind of funny. Have you gone back and looked to see like what Brock Purdy's numbers were last year and where they actually ranked in terms of just every quarterback throughout the year? He was a top 5 quarterback in the games that he played. Like, every stat you're going through, Brock Purdy was playing at a just F you. I'm gonna like it was full on Stetson Bennett.
If you put one of the 3 of us out there behind that offensive line with those weapons, I think
it's
that we could have done okay.
I don't think so.
Purdy was in NPC, being controlled by the main character.
It's a good call,
Shanahan. And
but you're not giving him credit for even the stuff that he was doing outside of structure and moving around, doing stuff.
There are moments when Brock Purdy, like I said before, he goes in the Freebird mode.
Yeah,
that sometimes helps. Sometimes it just does not. Like, you're not that guy. Like, he just doesn't have that athleticism. But schematically, it's the exact same offense with Jimmy Garoppolo. They did the exact same stuff. You just had Christian McCaffrey now, and that makes it a whole lot better, which is why I think we have not seen the Kyle Shanahan offense with Trey Lance and Christian McCaffrey. Like, we haven't gotten a chance to see that and make the judgment for ourselves. We've seen what the 49er offense looks like with Brock Purdy and Christian McCaffrey. Like, it's very easy to throw in a NPC at quarterback when you have the Monstars around you. Try and let an actual quarterback take the reins for a little bit. Like, you don't always have to try and NPC control this quarterback, Kyle. Like, you make life easier on yourself.
And this isn't. I'm not so far to say that like, okay, Brock Purdy is purely just if he went anywhere else, he would be god awful. But like, if he's in Houston last year, is he no? Like, I think that he's much closer to being just like a guy who had a really nice select few games. I think he's a lot closer to Nick Foles than, an actual top 10 quarterback. Like what Nick Foles was in Philadelphia when they won the Super Bowl, what Brock Osweiler was in Denver. something like that. I don't think that he's like this second coming for the 49ers.
The pros for Brock Purdy is now you know if a quarterback gets hurt, you have a guy that can still run that offense. You don't have to change a lot of stuff. You don't have to change.
Well, that's why you bring in Sam Darnold.
I do not want to hear a single thing about Sam Darnold ever again. Like you don't.
You know he's starting a playoff game for the Niners next year. You know it's happening. You know Sam Darnold's starting a playoff game for the Niners.
He's probably going to end up like, but all the quarterbacks going to get hurt. He's going to end up throwing for like 400 yards against the Cardinals, and everybody's like, "Oh, Sam Darnold Renaissance!" Like, let's slow down, buddy. But I will not be gaslit into thinking that Sam Darnold's going to be the opening week starter for the 49ers.
I'll keep banging that hammer. I don't care.
You cannot run that play action on me. I know your game.
I love it. AFC South. Can they win the Super Bowl series? We're going to do this with each division over the course of the rest of this summer as we get ready for the regular season, which is going to be here before you know it. We're like 68 days from college football, turning NFL right around the corner. We're at, 70-something?
I can't wait to bet on Big 12 games that I have no knowledge of.
Yeah, I mean, hey, you're gonna have 4 new teams to bet on this fall, Jarrett. Who are the 4 new Big 12 teams this year?
There's 4 new ones.
There are 4 new ones. Can you get one of the 4?
One of them is like 20 minutes away from me.
That's a big hint.
Oh, UCF.
There you go.
Okay. Oh wait, I feel like it's just a few of the American Conference teams. Okay.
Oh, you're getting warmer.
Okay. Is Tulsa one?
No. Tulsa's bad.
Well, all right, so not Tulsa.
They lost everybody to Auburn.
Okay. You said Tulsa. Go one state over or one state below.
One state below. Okay. UTEP?